This episode is brought to you by the feeling when you're sat having a little bit of a wee and you think to yourself, maybe I'm going to poot too, but nope, you don't. Brought to you by that. And now here's a song. Kris Kringle has more songs than this, but I forgot them all. So here's one for Christmas. I wish I did a little better to remember to think I had a song to sing to you. And now here they are, your inveterable, Jesus, your inveterable host, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. What the hell, Joshua? What kind of song was that? We're here. Hey, as promised, I'm here with somebody today again. That's going to be great. I can see them. You can't, and they're watching me and trying very hard not to acknowledge what a jackass I look like if you're just watching me and we're on a phone call together. What? I don't know. This is an announcement we're supposed to make. I knew. Thanks. It's a record. It's a record. It's called And We Ride, and it's by Wallace. I'm on it, and you can get it at Bandcamp, and that would be a great thing for you to do. That's how you get your tickets to heaven, is to only listen to it on Spotify once and then buy it on Bandcamp, because that's how musicians make money. Before we get too far into the show, I want to say this too. Very happy birthday to Chris. We see you right there. I looked in the wrong direction for half a second, but it's only because you are a little bit vertically challenged and I didn't know where to look. Oh shit, now you're off the screen. Let's put you back. Hey, happy birthday to you. What is the Middle Eastern version of happy birthday to you by Stevie Wonder? I'm singing that to Chris. All right. Hey, could you this is a nonsense part of the day that I hope means something, because when nonsense means something, then that's valuable, is what I'm told, and it's what I do. So if you like it and you want to support it and you like the time that we spend here under the Philosopher's Tree, there's so many ways to support it. One is to go ahead and YouTubers, do the YouTubes. Like it, subscribe it, leave a comment. We're supposed to leave you things to comment on, and I'm told that I say quite a number of controversial things. Pick a subject. Whether or not I'll pay attention to you, that might even be the subject. I don't know. If you happen to be on Facebook, then you could you could become a member of the community at the Smoke and Mirrors community page. We don't have a fan page there because we don't need fans. We're a community. We're all here together. And if you really love it, you could share it. That would be the easiest way to let people know about it. We appreciate it when you let people know about it. Under the Philosopher's Tree, if you really absolutely love it, against your better judgment, want to contribute to it fiscally, well, there are two ways you could do that. One is you could just drop $5 on it, and that is a metaphorical $5. It can be $1. It can be $2. I don't care. If you went to public school like I did, $5 can be $4.75. That can be at the Venmo at Carlos-Wyndham, Cash App at $CK Wyndham, PayPal /me.CK Wyndham. And if you really, 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 really love it and you want to become a patron of the art We'll leave that singular. I'm only going to share one with you. You can do that at the Patreon at Smoke and Mirrors CCB, as have Ruthie, Erica, Amber, Aaron, Seth, Lisa, Kristen, Renisa, Michael, Natalie, Juliet, Tarika, Tracy, Venus, Jen, Tink, Joe, and Kelly. Did that all in one breath with my mask voice. Yay! Okay. Hi. It's going to be a good show. I think it's going to be a good show. I usually think it's going to be a good show. And usually when it's not a great one, it's because I'm here alone. And I didn't plan. This is not that. I don't. Listen, I may have had 4 or 5 pots of coffee today, working on some self-care, some mental lubrication to keep it smooth for the people. And so lots. Do you have a warm bevy? Got the fucks cup ready, filling up, replenishing the fucks on the daily, trying to have one for the people. Have one, give one, get one. Give one, get one. That's what. Is that the saying? There should be a saying. Give a fuck, get a fuck. Like we could have a fucks jar that where instead of having to put $1 if you said a fuck, it's like give a fuck and get a fuck. I think my parents might have gone to some parties like that in the 70s. Listen, that's not what we're talking about at all. So do you know that thing where your friends and your neighbors and your colleagues and your nieces and your nephews and your proteges and your mentees and your mentors and your minotaurs and your unicorns are all very special and independently minded people, and very special and independently minded as well. Independently minded folkers, especially in their youth, well, they do shit. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, though. One of these independently minded folkers who just be doing shit is an independently folker who is my nephew, and I need my nephew to get in touch with me. I have a deadline that needs to be met that his independently super genius artist ass needs to answer forthwith. Now, here's the situation. His stupid phone is not on and or is out of batteries. So what I would like is if you, my friends and community, again, we're just friends and community here, happen to see my nephew anywhere, would you just do me a favor? Would you please go ahead and tell Forrest, this is Forrest on the screen here, that Auntie Los is looking for him. I would just like him to just give me a ringy dingy ding. That's all. Want to check in with him about the deadline for the entry, and we are on a schedule. So if right, that's what I'm saying. Where's Forrest? So if you could do me a favor, and if you happen to see my boy anywhere around the Portland metropolitan area, or anywhere in the Pacific Northwest for that matter, if you could just have him hit me up, and if you happen to see him and he's not in a hit anybody up kind of a mood, maybe you could just drop me a DM and let me know where you saw him, because I'd really like to be in touch with my nephew. Why? Because I love him. Hey, right there on the screen, you see a thing that is a hint toward some of what we're going to be chatting about today. Yeah, there have been some events in here in Portland as of late. That is a sentence that would be applied every single day. There's been a white person in charge of this city since forever. So today's no exception, nor was yesterday. The Portland Red House, seen right here, has been going through some metamorphoses, some transformations, some evolutions, and every time there is an evolution, there is upheaval. That's what is required of evolution, right? When you were evolving from a teen to an adult, your skin had upheavals, just plop, 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 and it changes. It changes. Keeps changing when you get older. Hey, bad news for the young. It does not ever get easier. Just, I don't know why they told you that in that campaign. That was a fucking, it gets, you give fewer fucks. You just give fewer fucks. Speaking of which, let's replenish a little sippy sip before our friend is here. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Need another hit too. Hey, Forrest, don't be an asshole. Call your auntie. You can call your mom too. I don't care. Also, we're supposed to be talking. I got to book you on the show soon too. So there's a couple things. Get at me. Why would I be using this platform to get at you? You usually get back at me on the Instagram gramophone. On the Instagramophone. What? That's not what they call it? Oh, okay. All right. IGDMs. I sound like I'm looking at a reading chart. That doesn't sound like it means anything. I'm going to stick with Instagramophones. Okay. All right. IGDMs. Usually hit me on the IGDMs. You can hit me there too. That'd be fine. Okay. Well, let's get this screen off the screen. Get ready to bring our guest here. The person who I'm bringing on today is a community organizer, activist, all about town person who has been very loudly and vocally fighting white supremacy. That lives in the whiteness, in the river, in the Willamette, in the people, and in ourselves, sadly, at so many times. Somebody who has done so much work on behalf of black youth, black women, black femmes, and knows that black moms are going to have to be in some measure of leadership if we're going to find a way forward for any of us. And with that, would like to welcome under the philosopher's tree, my friend and soon to be yours, Amber Boydston. Amber, would you join us here under the tree? Can we get a little bit of applause, Joshua, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Where's Amber? Can we get? Hey, there they are. What's happening, family?
Hey, how are you?
Listen, I don't. That's why. Why would you start like that? Why would you start like that? I thought we were friends.
In this moment.
In this very moment.
Let's rewind.
Okay,
in this
all right.
very moment.
In this very moment, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see you. It's nice to see you. That's how I am. How are you doing?
Same. I've been waiting. Thank you for rescheduling. I appreciate you so much.
Listen, no, I'm happy that we've been able to have you, and I am actually happy that the reason that we've had to reschedule so many times is let's see. I am seeing something that says, hey, Erica, and I don't know what that means. Unless Erica's in the chats. Is Erica in the chats? Tammy and Erica, are you in the chats talking to each other? Anyway, Amber, let's keep going. So the reason that we've had to reschedule so very many times is because, as we were talking about at the top of the show, life is ever evolving. And you have been involved in many movements that continue to be ever evolving. And so with that, maybe let's work from the forward to the back. Because if you are in Portland, you would be aware. If you are in Portland and you pay attention to Black people, you would be aware that there has been quite a lot of activity at what has become known as the Portland Red House. Could you share with us, from a frontline perspective, some of what that activity has been, what led up to it, and then we can talk about sort of how that's progressed?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we have an Afro-Indigenous family that has been living on this land for many generations. And just to take it back a few months actually, the Portland police pushed in at gunpoint and tried to evict them from their home. So a handful of organizers decided to support at the family's request and actually camped on the land. And out of that was really just a lot of frontline abolition and community and mutual aid that sprang from the Red House. And so I think from afar, it really looks like you have this, a community of people that's living on this land, and it might be confusing what's happening, but really it's frontline abolition work where people are supporting this Afro-Indigenous family so that at any moment when the police choose to come in, which they do, we know, that there are a group of people there to really help and say, no, like this is their land, and there should be a process that we go through to, one, make sure that anti-Blackness and white supremacy isn't continuing to be replicated within the practices and just by nature of interactions, and two, that their voices are really centered, that is something that hasn't been a focus for quite a long time. So in the last couple weeks, or a week and a half ago, the Portland police came in at gunpoint and raided the community that was living there, that was protecting the land, supporting the family, at 4:30 in the morning at gunpoint. And
this
at
is
that
like
point,
this is about a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Almost 2 weeks ago, and
2 weeks ago.
No,
Okay.
exactly a week ago. Last week was like a year.
Right?
Auntie.
I
It was
know.
too
I
long.
know. I'm like, a week ago, Easter
It was
2019.
right.
I don't. With it most
It was so
recently.
recent, maybe
Okay.
second week of December. So
Eso. Okay.
I woke up and a friend of mine, Regina Rage, was at the front lines in the morning with the police trying to advocate for the family and the community that was there. And I rushed over in the morning, and like a lot of other community members who have been supporting at the Red House, supporting community that's feeding 100 people a night, that is providing mutual aid for more than that each night, educational classes, so on and so forth. And so a handful of us pushed in. I think there was probably maybe just 30 of us early in the morning, and a lot of us made it after the police had made a handful of arrests and dispersed community members. And from there, it was just war. Yeah.
So what was the theoretical grounds for dispersal of community? Like what is the reason or the method that they're trying to remove the family, right? In terms of the eviction, is what I've heard loosely is that a developer moved it. I don't know. Do we know the developer? Do we know who the motherfuckers are and can call them by name? Or do we not know all of that? Or are we not, or are we not supposed to say it even if we do know it right now because there's things?
So that's the latter. There is a
Okay.
developer, that's
All
clear.
right.
There is a
Somebody.
developer, and yep, yes. And in addition to the reason why the PPB pushed in at gunpoint is they claimed that they were receiving a lot of calls from the community that there were dangerous activity on the property, so on and so forth, which we know
From
was
the community
fabricated.
who? From who? Y'all who was on the property? From people who was
No,
just
like the
hanging out
community
there?
surrounding the Red House, which we think is false. The Red House has been very
That
active
don't.
in keeping the
Yeah.
community aware, and um, making sure that there are possibilities of collaboration the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think the police were doing what police do, right? Is they see community coming together, they see Black, Indigenous, Brown community coming together, and they decide to rip it apart.
Well, and in particular for the protection of right, for the protection of property and to keep property in its proper place, right, which includes black and brown bodies in the eyes mind of whiteness. So if black
Hmm.
and brown bodies are gathering on a piece of land that white people have decided is now theirs, that's all sorts of the universe being out of order. You can't have that. Can't
Mm-mm.
have that.
Mm-mm. We're stolen people on stolen land. They have no rights.
Right. Ugh,
Yeah.
gross.
Mm-mm. Yes.
So gross.
So the last week has been, you know, um, fascinating. The very first day, the very few hours after they made a handful of arrests, there were cops at each. They actually surrounded the area in a 2 block radius and blocked off every single entryway with a
Damn.
police truck or police officers, 10 or more police officers. And right behind the house is a little alleyway, and they have police officers at the front and the bottom with multiple police trucks. And that's really where the standoff began, because they boarded up the home and they started ripping apart the camp. And the camp that community has put so much time and energy, many of us, in building and supporting and creating an environment that was leaning towards safety.
Yeah.
And they tore that apart, and they threw it all in the trash, and they threw all the food in the trash, clean food and clean blankets. And we were filming, and I,
Why do
I
you
stepped
think
my
the
foot
police
out.
hate clean food so much? Why do you think the police are against food so much?
I really believe that there's so much power in the nourishment that we ingest, and it's just another piece of control and power,
Yeah.
and ultimately, I mean, for me, like, all of it just comes back to this place of forgetting that we're all, that they too are wrapped up in our humanity
Yeah.
ultimately, but it is this place of superiority. And I mean, to be honest, like, food is what brings us together, right? Like, food is, as Black community, as Indigenous and Brown community, like, food is something that is celebratory, that is sacred, that, um, helps build moments of possibility and teaching and education and storytelling, and so much comes from that. And they know that.
Yeah.
They've continuously been stripping us of, or trying to strip us of our humanity for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They're failing, but they're trying.
So gross. So they
Mhm.
came in, they blocked everybody in, which is terrorism. They threw everybody's food and water away. What kind of impact do those actions end up having on the coalition, right? That had been built once it faces the tensions exacerbated by the violence of white supremacy as have been unleashed by the county and the mayor.
Mhm. It's traumatizing, it's re-traumatizing, and I mean, absolutely debilitating, and thrusts people into that space of being in a fight or flight mode, and from there making decisions from that place. It fractures community, and it puts a lot of pressure on uh, people to make decisions in moments of feeling extreme terror,
Mm.
white terror.
Mm.
Yeah, and it just escalated. It escalated from there, where they were, I put my foot in the alleyway and was filming and zooming in, particularly on police officers that did not have their names
Mm-hmm.
on their vests, that did not have their numbers. And at that point, we had even identified a handful of them as chuds, and even asked them if a handful of them were chuds, and they had nodded. We have this all on film, and I put my foot in the alleyway to get a better angle, and one of the police officers rushed me with their rifle. And from then, it was just, that's how they attacked us, is
Mm.
rushing up with their rifles or gassing us. And they continued that until 9, until they switched out their troops and a new group came in, and so on and so forth.
Mm. Now, when you say chuds, for people who haven't been in the streets as at doing any of this kind of work, or have only seen what's happening in the news since honestly, since the Trump regime unleashed the Kraken in terms of white permission to openly act however they feel like acting. Um, what is a chud, so that folks who are here with us under the tree understand?
Chud is a Trump supporter who is a fascist and also somebody who often you can find at protests, protesting any form of BLM movement, including vigils. These are maybe akin to Klan members who you can find outside of your home. If you're any form of activist that's making a loud movement, but essentially, active Trump supporters that are there to continuously create genocide on Black community.
Right. And for anybody who is confused, it also still does mean cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, and please stay away from the corners, because they'll get you. They'll get you. The other thing that you talked about before we talk about kind of like what your experience is in how the devolution, given the pressures of white supremacy in the current moment, came to be. You were talking about an abolitionist community on the front lines. What when you're using that, what are you saying? What are you talking about? What are you referencing as a group? With specificity, who are we talking about, or is it a theory that you're carrying into this? Is this a movement theory? Share, please.
Yes, there are. So I would say it's a movement theory, and there are a handful of us activists that are self proclaimed abolitionists. So community members that are committed at foundational levels personally, and then that, ripples out into our community to decolonizing the ways in which we do everything in our life. And so when we called this community an abolitionist community, it was a community that was really coming together to support one another in terms of mutual aid and education, in ways where we centered Black voices, Indigenous voices, where there were moments of ritual and healing, and where we weren't relying on the government to get our needs met in terms of food or health or education. so on and so forth. And really, as abolitionists, we talk a lot about making sure that we are bringing back ritualistic ways from as far back as we can pull within our experiences with our ancestral, past, across the diaspora, and ultimately making sure that we are creating something that's new. So not pulling from a dying paradigm, but also uh, like recentering that Black femme wisdom and moving forward and creating from there.
Yeah. All right, thank you. I wanted to make sure that we, for real, had some clarity because I know there's so many people right now, who are having some confusion when folks, like myself, right, are very clear in talking about that I'm a full-on police abolitionist. This police and prison, two a one. There's not some question for me in that. That when, as a community, you are talking about, what I'm hearing you saying is an expression of that goes to a degree of trying to find connect, and recreate with expressions of community engagement that move beyond the yoke of white supremacy in whole.
Most definitely. And, practically, of course, it's total abolition in all ways in the prison industrial complex. And,
Right.
I love the chants that we have at protests that we say, like, who keeps us safe? We say, we keep us safe, or this is what community looks like, because that really is an abolitionist mindset, right? That, when there is an experience, whether it's harm or otherwise, that we show up as a community and push in, knowing that we have each other, we're going to support each other, and there's something to learn and grow from this,
Yeah.
and build from.
Yeah. Tammy, okay, that makes more sense. Yup. Got you. Yeah. You was talking to Eric. I know. For anybody who don't know, Fatima, what's going on? Fatty over there. Sorry. Please don't hit me. Fatima over there holding it down, making sure security tight over on the page, making sure we ain't got nobody coming up on the page acting funny style. We got Joshua with the drops doing the things. Tracy Trace with the drops from the distance. It's out. We doing things. It's wonderful. So I know that for me, the first time that I found myself receiving open death threats, right? Just out loud, right? Framed right there. Very proud of it. Very proud of that. While with time, I have become able to be very proud of that and frame it ironically and have all those good times with it. That when it happens, it is quite a disquieting thing to find oneself under any level of attack. And you have become, over this last 6 months, 10 months, much more public figure in Portland, and you have received some attention for your stances. How have you been navigating being trolled, being brought to question simply because people do so when you are visible? How is all of this piece of public organizing settling with you, or you with it?
Mm-hmm. I realized, so when my family and my children, my then 10-year-old and 2-year-old and myself received death threats, I felt numb and didn't know what to do, like numb and panicked, and like deeply concerned, like where do I go? Like it felt like maybe like obviously there are eyes on me. Like there's eyes on me. I can't see the eyes. What do I do? And I work with community, and we have security all the time around us when we protest and we march. And I feel very safe in those situations. And I felt super unsafe in my home. Called my auntie. Thank you. And called some other abolitionists, and realized that I was stepping into this whole field of that was quite populated, right? I was not alone in this experience, and that was eye-opening and humbling in and of itself. So it was like just a myriad of feelings within the first few hours. Of feeling so isolated, and then realizing, no, I'm amongst this community who has been vocal for Black liberation, has also experienced these horrific threats. And then it was like I really didn't know what to do in terms of keeping my children safe, and that felt very isolating. Like I didn't want to take them to the park. And I decided to get weapons not weapons, but like a pepper spray for myself, like when I'm walking by myself, and protection. And so it was a really surreal experience. And I have friends like you and others who are like, now I wear it as as a sense of, I don't know if you'd say pride, but like, it's an experience, right? Like you've been through that. And I'm working on getting there.
I would challenge you that it is pride, right? Because and not from a place of like, okay, listen, you know me well enough. Yes, certainly there is a part of it that is like, I am the pettiest asshole. Okay, the whole thing for me is around like everybody's an asshole, so you just got to know what flavor you are. My flavor is petty ass bitch. So if you do some shit like that to me, what? Now that doesn't mean it's not what it is, right? Everything you're talking about, it does what it is meant to do. It can be terrifying if you do not then wrangle it. Okay. But when you wrangle it, that is the badge of pride. Do you know what I'm saying? The badge of pride is not this happened to me. The badge of pride is not any of that. The badge of pride is knowing that you disrupted the systems enough that these stupid motherfuckers decided that you were somebody to say something to, okay? And that you are not going to stop me. I will wrangle that and wrestle that out of your goddamn hands, because if they're coming for you, they're going to come for you either way.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely, 100%. So that's what I realized, and it's like I just have to stay in the streets. Like it doesn't matter at all. Like I am willing to be at the front lines for the movement because it means my life, because it means better for the generations after me, and because it possibly could mean better now. And I'm all in. Like I'm all in because every other day of my life, I live in this skin and I'm impressed by systems and people who don't care. And so I'm just all in. And I feel like there's momentum right now with a community of other people who are waking up and remembering our calling.
So what were for you the early moments that let you know that this might be your calling? Were there early moments for you, or was it a later call to action? How did that play out and shape out for you?
I always say that this movement is bigger than me, that it comes through me. I have activists and educators on my Ethiopian father's side and on my Irish mother's side. And some of my earliest memories are when my mother took me to live in an all-white state, and children wouldn't play with me because of the color of my skin. It was very vocal about it.
The all-white state is here, or where was this?
North Stratford, New Hampshire.
Okay, right? So let's be clear for Portland motherfuckers. Y'all be talking that weird flex shit about the whitest city in America. Fuck you. You're not even close. Also, weird flex. Fuck you for that. But fuck you. You're not even close. What was your percentage? Do you know?
Uh, was it I was, they didn't. They
They
really
didn't.
didn't.
Okay.
They
Boulder,
didn't.
Colorado,
Yeah,
90,
no.
97%, I think. 97 to 98% white. So when this little city starts talking about 86% white, 87% white,
Yes,
fuck out of here.
yes,
You ain't white.
yes,
That ain't white.
yes. So this was no, and this was the early '80s. So I would say it had to have been at least. I don't know what Colorado was at that point, but it had to have been close to 100. Children either thought I was dirty or they just knew to call me the N word. But that's besides the point to
See.
say that I remember going head to head
Yeah.
with some white children. And that came back to my grandmother who lived here, and it made the front page of the Oregonian of me going head to head with this white child and saying, well, I don't want to play with you either because you're white from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. It's, a first grade fight. And from then it really was, like advocating for my right and my
Oh
existence.
shit!
Yeah, to just
That's
be
gonna be
here
the
and
reason
take
I
up
don't want to play with
space.
motherfuckers right now today. That's gonna be my new reason. I don't want to play with you because you white from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, motherfucker. I am not playing with you. We okay. So you took that on, and it ended up making noise already at the state level at that age. How old were you when that was happening?
5.
Wow.
Hmm. And, there were just situations that made me question, going through neighborhoods where my parents would make me duck
Mm.
because there were so many white supremacists. And then, um, living in this state, yeah, and the amount of anti-blackness, and then just also navigating, right, like
Mm-hmm,
being a
mm-hmm,
mixed race
mm-hmm,
Black
mm-hmm.
person in this world, and all that comes with. So I have always been vocal because it feels bigger than me, like I can't not silence it, and I also feel thankful that that's a fire in me
Mm-hmm.
because I know that uh, that it helps move this movement forward. And I have family members who were enslaved and experienced the most. I mean, like my grandmother was digging graves before she went to kindergarten every morning, and um,
Now
I want to heal the
she told you about this?
generation.
She told you about this?
She told my older cousins about this. Uh-huh.
That she was
Yeah.
digging
Yeah.
graves.
She was digging graves as part of her like paying back to this community, this land that she was living on
So
as
what,
a
just
as
like
a
she
young
had to dig
Black
like
person.
nigger
And
graves, or she just had to dig graves for the white people? She just had to dig
hmm
graves? Like, what
hmm
was the deal?
for the white people, for us. hmm and
Wow.
you just take it like back farther, right? And
Wow.
like I have to, like
Yeah.
I get to be a part of the change. Yeah, I get to.
The level of disrespect, like, that you ought dig these graves, motherfucker. Like, Jesus. And that's one of the things, right, that I think people don't even today understand, to making that connection in terms of white affirmative action programs, that the positions of every level of domestic worker and servant, and we don't think about that is a level of domestic work and service, right? That is a level of government work that needs to be done by somebody. Somebody got to dig them holes, and prior to there being machines, which is the right, which is the only reason that white people want machines and robots in the first place, is so that they can have more slaves. Except that now the robots are getting too smart and it's gonna fuck everything up. We've seen this movie, but to know
And
that
they're
it
all built
goes
by
back
white
like
people.
that. Say one more time. And they done what with the white
And all
people?
the robots are built by white people. It's it's like
It's
another mutation of white supremacy, like a tribe.
oh for sure, oh for sure.
Yeah. I know.
It's not even, yeah, no, I've been on about this shit. The robots is coming to take us over. I won't have a Roomba. Listen, if I ever get a shotgun, it's only gonna be to prevent a Roomba from running around my goddamn floor all the fucking time. I'm not having it. That's not gonna happen around here. I got a trash can
Mm-hmm.
that should be like, what, hitting you in your head all the goddamn, fuck these
Mm-hmm.
robots. I don't like them. I don't like a goddamn one of them. Uppity little
I'm with
niggas.
you.
I know why white people are like that. I get it. It's fucking stupid. Uh, Jesus. So you start fucking with these white people from the fifth grade.
Hmm.
What do you remember the first time that you were doing like organized fucking up white people's happiness? But I think of political organizing as fucking with white people's joy. Nothing makes me
Mm-hmm.
feel more sour inside than joyful white people. What
Mm.
what was the
Yes.
first organized time that you tried to do that?
Hmm. There used to be this conference that um, Resolutions Northwest used to put on. Well, there were multiple conferences. There was like there was the Oregon Mediation Association conference, which we still have, and then there was like the Peacemakers conference. And so I would say probably my earliest memory was the probably the Oregon Mediation Association when I was 13, and going in there and just recognizing on a whole other level, because I'd worked with Clackamas County, and I knew that it was heavily saturated with white people. I didn't realize at that age that like the whole field, at least in Oregon, was white
Listen,
overwhelmingly, like cis
it's wild. It's wild.
white men.
It's why I ain't coming. Let me tell you, coming here from Oakland to bump into that reality, because in Oakland,
Mm,
right, resolution was what was happening at MacArthur. It was happening at these other schools and these high schools, but it was like real resolution, community resolution, bringing the mamas, the aunties, everybody. You know what I mean? And then coming here and seeing the well, go ahead, as you were saying.
yes. So I mean, I didn't, I realized at that moment that it was saturated with whiteness. And
Yeah.
so I remember going off script, shout out to Lauren McNeil, my then, and well, still white, but then boss, for allowing me to just speak my mind in a room full of adults and white people for an hour and a half. They
Mm,
listened to me for 90 minutes,
come on.
talk about white terrorism and ableism and anti-blackness, and in my 13-year-old, lexicon. And it was really, really empowering. They listened probably because they had to. I didn't know that then. But moreover, like, I was really supported by the community that I was a part of, and my voice was continuously supported by a handful of other activists who, I would say, like, it was always a combination of LGBTQIAP plus affirming
Mm,
white community, like that.
hmm.
That it was hardly ever was I running into like cis community that was really like had my back in the way um, that other communities that are marginalized, that are
It's
continuously
not
oppressed.
their vibe. It's not their vibe. Breaking up the systems that give them their unearned and undeserved privileges, that shine a light on that mediocrity. Woo! They don't like that.
Yes,
They
yes,
do not
yes,
like that.
yeah,
Man, speaking of
yeah.
mediocrity, how about that? How about that AG Barr? Huh? How about that shit? Did you read his letter?
I don't even know.
Son of a
I don't even know what to
beast.
say.
It's insane. It's insane. Is there a new AG? Do we have an AG now? Is there a sheriff?
Oh,
I don't even know how this works anymore. When's the new president get here? Some
mm-mm,
bullshit. I
mm-mm,
can't keep track,
mm-mm.
Hundy. I really can't. I was watching on the news trying to keep track, and I couldn't keep track of it. I can't. It's a mess.
No, no, no. And it's just going to keep unraveling.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a good hot minute. A good hot,
Hmm.
like this next. Well, how many days until the old man get up in the seat?
Um,
20,
it's
something like that.
yeah, I just yeah, uh-huh.
This
Yeah.
motherfucker. No. More than 20 because it's January 20,
No,
right?
because
So
we have
34,
this month and
35,
it's the
35.
20. Yeah.
Oh, shit. This boy still got 35 days to fuck around. This shit ain't going to be cute. This shit
I
ain't going
think
to be
it's going to
cute.
be worse once he's done. I
Do
think
you?
because he's.
How?
I don't know.
He ain't going to have no
Uh,
army.
I,
Official,
oh,
official, official.
official, official. I mean, but who's going to really be keeping tracks on him?
Who was keeping tracks on his ass before?
I just feel
This the
like he has
nigga
more
from Home
contacts
Alone
now. I
too.
don't know.
What are
I
we
don't
talking
know.
about?
I'm
He's the
equally as
symptom.
concerned. I really am.
Baby, come on,
Like,
stop. You know he's the
true.
symptom. He ain't the problem.
Yes. No, no, no. Absolutely.
It ain't him.
1000%. 1000%. No, no, no. It's not him. No, it's yes, no. He's just the current, yeah, no, the face. I 1000% agree. I'm just saying his his uh his reign will continue in a different way.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I mean, all that, what is it, 112, 100, some 16 congressmen like got down with him with this
Yep.
attempted coup shit, and yet
Hmm.
they're being allowed to serve in Congress. I'm like, but that's subverting the government, and they took an oath to do the not that, which I mean, I wouldn't take, but I mean, that's not me. That's them, and they said and they lied, evidently.
They always lie.
I always be lying, in
I
it.
don't know. The
Jeez,
abolition island is open, so
listen,
come, come one, come all.
listen. The more of us that's on it, the easier it's gonna be. Meet us under the tree and
Hmm.
let's organize this island. Cause god damn, we can't. This is a mess. This shit's a mess. How the
Mm.
vegetables treat in your stomach if you bought them from the store? Ugh. Ugh. Ah, listen, I hear babies in the back. I'm not gonna keep you that long because I know you're gonna get in trouble if I do. Um, before I let you go, as speaking of the babies, right? As they have come into your life, continue to come into your life. What has that done in terms of the shit that we were always told by our elders? In terms of like, oh, we about to as we get, see, you when you get old, you don't understand. When you get old, you're gonna calm down, you're gonna get conservative, you're gonna be cool, and it's gonna be different. How has that gone for you
Hmm.
as the
Hmm.
babies have shown up?
Oh my goodness. I'm only louder. So I don't know if this is other people, but my experience with parenting has been, I feel like I've been completely broken to pieces, and within that have experienced like this a piece of me that is this unwavering truth. And so I keep being presented with a mirror, and I keep being presented with the next wave of thought and creation through these young people. And it absolutely thrusts me into this space of being fully open and really deconstructing the ways in which I've oriented myself into this world, the patterns, which has become beliefs for me. Um, so I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly reevaluating the way in which I show up to support these young people, to support their fire, to learn from them. They're my little teachers for sure. And prior to children, and even with children, like the youth I work with have always been my educators. And for me now, it's to be that loud voice of justice in whatever way that I can bring it forth. And I'm really trying to change the ways in which Black women, Black femmes, Black people have been silenced and been told that their wisdom isn't shining bright, and all the narratives that they've been taught. And so I'm trying to deconstruct that within myself so that I can show up with my full power, with my ancestral power for them. So I'm loud. I'm a loud parent. I'm loud in terms of like speaking towards truth and justice, and also try to hold moments of silence and pausing for their truth, because that's what's most important. And I really, really, I believe there's nothing else like being a parent, right? It just, thrust you into this space in a new way. And so I'm thankful to be learning every day, because it's hard, and through that I'm growing. I know I'm growing.
Well, thank you so much for continuing to share yourself, and for publicly sharing your growth, and for doing that, under threat of male violence, under threat of white male violence, of ostracism from any in group or cool kid club, or any other thing, to make sure that you're standing with your courage really screwed to the sticking place in terms of the work that you're doing, and it shows. And I appreciate how you show up. Where can people find you who want to be engaged with you? I know I've done meditations in the morning with you. Where can the people see you?
Yeah, right now you can hop on IG or Twitter. I'm at Spirited_Justice. I also have a couple groups that I work with. One is Reparations Block, BLOC, so you can find me there as well. Yeah, come be a part of what I'm doing. Yeah, growing, changing, building community.
That's it. We got to keep evolving and building this. Trying. I can't wait until we get out of this prophylactic bullshit. I need to see some people. This is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That time I saw you on the stairs through the masks, and like you was at the bottom of the stairs and I was at the top. God damn, that shit was painful. That shit was some garbage. I don't like this.
I know.
I don't like this.
Me either. I mean, just like 13 more months, right?
Yeah, I hope.
No.
I hope. I mean, 13 more. Okay, let's say this: if people act right about getting the little shots and doing the things or whatever, and even if a bunch of dumbasses still act crazy, right now that it's now that Trumpito's on the way out, 98% of the population talking about they're gonna take the shit, right? Even the fucking crazies, everybody talking about, nope, 9 out of 10 people, yup, I'm in. Okay. Of those, only 40%, right? Only 40% is talking about they're going to slow it down. They're going to wait for like round 3, round 4. They don't want to do the beta or this kind of shit. What I keep trying to remind people is that it was invented by a black woman. The first person who took it was a black woman. Like, pay attention, y'all. Come on. This ain't Tuskegee, niggas. This is stop it. Stop it. Or we're going to be on lock for, or according to what if we look at the last pandemic 100 years ago, right? And you look at those charts, either we take these motherfucking vaccines or we got a whole nother 2 fucking years like this. One of the two is going to happen. So I'm like, look, let me know when it's my turn, because I'm trying to raw dog air. I don't want to have to wear a mask for the rest of my life. This is ridiculous already.
No.
Ugh.
No. Oh, I'm with you.
Let's see. That maybe that'd be part of our next campaign. Let's see. We need you on it. We need your voice. All right, family.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for spending time. Everybody at the tree, please, a little bit of applause for our good friend, Amber Boydston. There it is. There they go. I'm betting 10-1 that those children are going to have to be fed now that my folks are off screen. I don't know what's going to happen next. I will say this. Thank you to everyone who spent some time. We see ya. We saw ya. I didn't read all of your comments as they were going to Amber. They went on the screen. If Amber wants to see them, they could go look at it on YouTube like you can. Like I'd love you to. And you could like it and pound it. And oh, God, I hate having to say those things. It's just so weird to say that at the end of these kinds of conversations. Anyway, seems like we did a show. So you know what happens next. This has been another Smoke and Mirrors. Do you like what we do? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk to Joshua and make sure that he gets off his duffet and there's something new to look at the IG. That's Instagram IG at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. That's for the comedy. That's for the culture. That's for the blackness. Twitter at Caballo Negrito. Caballo Negrito for the monolingual amongst us. That means we fear white joy. Caballo Negrito literally translates to the fear of white joy. You can look for me on Twitter. Hey, do you want to tell us something like, I don't know, where my nephew is? Okay, that'd be great. You can reach out at Smoke and Mirrors CCB at gmail.com. Again, that is Smoke and Mirrors CCB. That is for the comedy. That is for the culture. That is for the blackness. This is a thing that is produced and hosted by myself, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. This is also produced by the one and only Tracy Tatamy. Hey, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time under the philosopher's tree. Do not go outside. Stay in there. I know, I don't want to either, but if you do go outside, for God's sake, wear a mask. And when you come back inside, wash your hands before you touch your loved ones. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Why? Because we love you and we want to see you back here again next time. Thank you so much. This is Forrest. If you see his dumbass, please have him give his auntie a call. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's the end of the show. Bye-bye.